This evening, we want to talk about men and retirement. I find that there are two things we don't like talking about. We don't like talking about retirement. We don't like talking about death. It's almost like if you talk about them, you are beckoning them to come nearer to you. And so these are topics we try and avoid, but we must talk about them because we must prepare ourselves for them. So tonight, it is all about men and retirement. I have got quite a number of guests with me in studio to talk to us, to share their experiences as well. We have Edward Mwinga Obura. He's a HR practitioner with 80 years of experience, specializing in learning and development. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
It's good to have you.
Nice to be here.
Wewe ukai ni kama umeretire. Wewe unakaa ndio ni kama ndio umeanza.
Well, I'm preparing for retirement.
You're already preparing?
Yes, as early as now.
Okay. You'll tell us how. Also in studio with us, we have Reverend Dr. Daniel Mureithi Mutungi. He is a retired senior lecturer at Daystar University and also a retired minister in the Methodist Church. How are you doing, sir?
Fine, doing well.
Good to have you.
Asante na shukuru.
I think you're the right person to be here. You've retired twice.
I don't know.
You have, you have a wealth of experience that I am sure we will learn from. We also have Patrick Gadhido Waithaka.
Yes.
At least Waithaka is easy to pronounce. He's also worked as a civil servant and also as a police officer, and he's now retired. It's good to have you also on the show. Karibu sana. And as always, we have our live studio audience. Wanaume mko? Bwana asifiwe. I'll start with you, Reverend.
Wow.
Yes.
Why?
How is it that because you've retired twice, we need to know, how is it you've retired twice and how was the experience?
I did 2 jobs for a long time. One was as a minister with the Methodist Church in Kenya, where I worked for 33 years.
Wow.
And provisions are after reaching, reach either the age of 65 or on working for 30 years, one can retire. The other one is I sat for 20 years as a senior lecturer at Daystar University, and their arrangements are on reaching the age of 70, the faculty retires. So when I reached 70, a little over 7 years ago, I also retired.
Okay. I want to come to Edward, because you said you've already started preparing for retirement. But before you tell us about that, as a HR practitioner, who do you think handles retirement better, men or women?
The women, definitely.
Why?
I think that, well, the majority of men that I've interacted with closer to the retirement age, when you talk to them, you find that their whole lives have been centered around the jobs. It's the jobs that give them meaning, and everything that's the networks that they make. Well, in the course of their duties, and all that is what defines their lives.
Okay.
So they're even afraid to go into retirement. I've had people come into my office to say, hey, you know, I'm nearing 60, but I'd still like to extend for a few more years.
Bado niko na nguvu.
Bado niko na nguvu.
Yeah.
And, well, in exceptional circumstances, we agree to that, but usually, no, because that's just postponing the inevitable, because one way or another, this person is going to have to retire.
Okay.
But the women would even prefer to retire earlier. They'll even come and tell you that, sahi nasikia mwili ina nguvu kidogo, let me go home and take care of my grandchildren. Let me go home and do ABC. They already have this alternative life built outside of work that they have no problem going to retirement.
Okay.
Some of them would even prefer going early. So the women handle it better.
Okay.
The men struggle. Yes?
You said you've already begun preparing for retirement. How are you doing that? In what areas are you already preparing?
Well, the groundwork is already being laid. On my own, myself, I don't intend to be working, you know, in a corporate setup per se, past the age of 40, maximum 45, because I've seen the way men usually struggle in retirement. So the groundwork is already being laid, business, investments here and there. And you'll be surprised if it even comes early. If everything goes well and even better, Mimi, I will be calling you and telling you I want to be a guest in your show every other week.
Because
I have the free time to.
When we talk about retirement, why do you think it's a struggle for a good number of men? Do we have a fear associated with retirement, and where is that fear coming from?
Men, they tend to fear because they identify their career, the job they are employed to do, with their identity. And kind of feeling, if I don't belong to this job, I don't belong anywhere, which is not true. 2, failure to accept reality, that there are different stages of development. There is a time when the infant becomes a child, and when a child becomes a teenager.
Yeah.
And a time when the teenager becomes a young man.
Yeah.
And that young man must get married, have a family, and take have children, not the cats and the dogs, not the pets, but real children, and take them to school. And then after that one, you work to maintain the family.
Yeah.
When the children are through school and college, you don't need to struggle so much. The extra income you get can be used to prepare for a stage in your life when you are not able to be as productive as you would have been if you are doing what you call the regular job.
Okay.
So that you slow down. It is stages in development. And all the people have also, men have their responsibility. I think what there is a sense of panic.
Yeah.
That they will not be recognized because they are left their positions.
Yes.
It is, I think, it is ill-conceived, understanding what work life is all about.
Yeah.
And hence, the sense of panic we see in men who even will not leave their office when their term to, come to an end.
Yeah.
If they are not elected, if they don't accept it, they go to the highest court to appeal, or those kind of manipulation. It's really childishness and selfishness of the highest degree, refusing to accept the reality, analyzing the situation, and adapt to it as what is necessary as you move forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In your practice as a HR practitioner, what are some common mistakes you see men making when they get to that age of retirement?
Most people, or rather most men, when they get closer to the retirement age, you see that pension money. You see now the reality has come close that I'm going to retire. Well, there is retirement in many perspectives, but let's talk about retirement upon attainment of the mandatory age of 60. Now when they realize that we are going to get to that age, and all this while, this person has been doing nothing with their money, with their pay slips. Mr. Waithaka has talked to us about how he gradually planned loans, this, that. He built up a pool of resources that he's comfortable up to now. But I guarantee you, 90% of the men in employment today do not have that kind of setup or thinking for themselves. So retirement comes as Reverend put it, panic.
Yes.
People have panicked now, like, now they start scrambling for, what can I do with this pension money? Because that's the only money they can bank on in bulk. Start farming fails. Start this business fails. Because even in our own pre-retirement training, when you organize pre-retirement training, we don't teach people how to start businesses, but how to incubate businesses. Because truth be said, how much is pension? How much is pension? Is it enough for you to start that business, grow it to the point of it being productive and running on its own? That's something that you should have done early.
Yeah.
Now people don't do that. That is now when time comes to retire, panic. And going by the statistics, by the way, men die faster after retirement.
After retirement than women.
Yes, because of that panic. And the other thing is loss of identity. Reverend put it, and I hit the nail on the head. Because we men relate so much with the title, the job title, Bwana Daktari, Bwana Director, that's what gives us meaning. But when it's no longer there, what do we have to live for?
You lose yourself.
We lose ourselves. And that hopelessness, you find a man who was once a professor or something, mtu ametajika, now walking in the village like, you know, nothing.
But I've always wondered why men retire and they think of going into business, and they think of going into a business they have never done.
That's the
All your
purpose.
life you are a teacher. A teacher of the word and a teacher at the university.
Yes.
And then you retire, and then you suddenly decide you're going to do something totally different. You are beginning again. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Ah,
It makes sense because there is something you have not considered.
tell me.
Grief.
Grief.
When you lose, and loss could be loss of somebody who has died, loss of a job,
Yes.
loss of a status, loss of identity as perceived by the character of the man. It is really inner crying, the pain of the loss.
We never talk about that loss.
And when men grieve, in grief you can do anything. You know, when somebody loses a loved one, a child or a spouse, sometimes even a parent,
Yes.
you can find men who run away from their work. They don't report their work anymore. They simply disappear. Sometimes they never return at all. And therefore, they make the wrong decision. In a grief, which is activated by the panic, you're asking, where do people make money? Business. Do you know the business? No. In farming. What is farming? It is what you saw your grandmother doing and your parents were doing. It's like trying to return to your mother's womb once more. What you consider to be the place of the highest degree of security. I think one thing I could, two things I can say it is grief, because you have lost your identity, your income, whatever it is, and you do make the wrong choices.
Yes.
And I would say the other one is really panic, and I think that's why you need to calm down. You know, if you sense you are driving, you are acting on top gear, just stop, take a deep breath.
Yes.
Count to 5. And once you get calm a little bit, you're able to relax. And then ask me, what is the best choice for me to make?
Okay.
Let me not say more.
You know, usually when we talk about retirement, Bonapatrick, many times we focus on the financial aspect, the source of income and how you're going to live. But I think sometimes we forget the social support as well. I don't know how it was for you to transition from the work that you were doing, you retire. Had you done anything about social support, and what are we as men supposed to do in terms of building that social support?
I think, actually from what I said from the beginning, once the transiting, when you are transiting from the job now, the job you know, to the outside world, and there's something you have asked.
Yeah.
Going into a business you have never tried. Maybe before I go to transition, transiting from, how do I start learning a matatu business and I do not know? How even to handle traffic policemen? Yeah, you know, you'll be messed by those boys.
Yes.
You are not an expert. And you are going to fail. Then they will really encourage you to join the business, a business you do not know. So for my case, how I transited, it is what I was doing from the word go.
Okay.
What I was developing, what I know, what I had known with my wife, not what we do not know. And we have found it okay, because we just, and you see pension, for most of the employees, is one of the highest figure they have ever seen. Yes, it's one of the highest figure, which will shock you, and you have never seen it. Yeah, because even in the cooperative movements, the ones which people have been following and borrowing money, you don't go to the figure of the pension. The figure of the pension is quite big. It startles somebody.
Yes.
It worries somebody. You feel you're not, you know. So if you do the wrong thing, something you have never done, you are going, I don't know, but my guess is as good as you may fail.
Yeah.
And very few succeed when they go the wrong way. But you need to continue what you started doing, yeah, from a while.
Okay.
Otherwise, going into a hardware business, you do not even know where cement is bought from, what is the profit. You go to spare shop, somebody will dump all the spares to you, pay me. You try to sell them out. You get out of the business very quickly. So do what you know, and don't try what you don't know.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Okay. We are talking about men and retirement this evening on Man Up. Shortly, we'll get into some questions from our studio audience. And if you are watching, maybe you have a thought, maybe you have a comment, feel free to send it in on 20316 for SMS and WhatsApp 0786 316 316. I do have a question for you who's watching. If you have retired, how has the experience been like for you? If you haven't retired, what are you putting in place now to facilitate a smooth transition for you when you retire? Answer those questions on those two lines, 20316 for SMS, WhatsApp 0786 316 316. As always, 1 minute, drink water, come back for part 2 of this good discussion.
Tomorrow on This Is My Story, she received her bundle of joy packaged differently.
Nikipata Sara ndio niliambiwa amepunjikia kwa tumbo.
While trying to come into terms with her daughter's condition, life threw her yet another curveball.
Aliniambia mzee wako aliuawa na ndugu yake.
Devastated and shattered, how did Jane Rose pick up the pieces? Catch This Is My Story tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.
Welcome back to Man Up. Tonight we are discussing men and retirement. Have you started preparing for retirement as a man? Are you retired? How is life for you? How was the transition for you? You can share your thoughts with us on 20316 for SMS and WhatsApp 0786 316 316. We have some young men in the studio, and I believe wako na maswali mengi sana, especially for these two gentlemen who have retired. So we'll take the first question.
My question is, one of the factors that contribute to retirement is career changes. And Mr. Reverend and Mr. Patrick have said they were dealing at least 2 retired from the first job, then entered the second one. Could that be a cause of career change, or why couldn't you just deal the 2? And Mr. Reverend said that he retired from the first job, I think, around 30 years, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. 14 years ago.
14 years ago. Why couldn't you just deal the 2? Because I think 30 years you are still young. Why couldn't you just deal the 2? Or is it a must that you must only deal one job?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to the second question so we answer 2.
My name is Amboy Jeff, likewise from Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. And my question goes to Bwana Patrick here. What you've taken this scenario whereby from your childhood, you have been having this good friend of yours whom you have been seeing. He has been having a business, and to you who is coming near to retirement, and you think like, after I get my pension, why can I buy the idea from my friend who has been doing such and such a business? Because you are well known that this person, having known since he has been around with you, and I think that might be a good choice because he's still in contact with you. You can be sharing ideas on how to grow your business.
Okay. You want to take that one first? And then we come to the second one? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, I retired 2 times, and one of them 14 years ago, another one 7 years later. Why could I not keep the 2 jobs? Well, I believe in applied sense of humor. I like to laugh at myself as I make other people laugh as well. I could actually have done 2 jobs until 7 years ago. But a question was asked in a meeting, how many are there people applying for retirement? Then I looked at the constitution. It is either on reaching the age of 65, you can apply, or after you have served for 30 years. And I realized I had served for 33. And I created a sense of humor in which I said yes. I wrote my letter there, in fact by hand. It's not even typed. And said, I'm hereby applying for retirement effective from this year, after that 3 year service as a daily minister of the Methodist Church. I was laughing at myself. And it's not that I could not run the 2. I could be in the 2 position. But I think there is a time also to make people kind of realize omissions in the rules that they make. So I could have stayed a bit longer. But on the other hand, it is important to accept the reality of life. You will not always be where you are when you are at your peak of the working moment. Prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and adjust yourself physically for the changes that will go on once you accept the retirement. Because when you are working, there are times you simply stress yourself. I can tell you when I was teaching, you know, trying to catch a bus, going to the river when I live in Ngong, and the traffic jam on the Ngong Road was terrible. There were times my left leg, many days my left leg went numb because of stress. Once I retired, I said, my left leg, you are mine. See machine.
See Ngong Road.
See Ngong Road. So I won't wake up to go to work at 5 or even 6. I have said no. I go walking. I go for walking in the evening. Kwa maana ukifika uzee wangu at the age of 77, be careful. The kind of air you breathe, like now it is so cold. You can easily catch pneumonia. I am not 17. I had 60 to that. And I'm heading for 80. So I walk in the evening, 5:30 to 7 o'clock. To exercise my body, because if my body does not move, itaoza. Hata kama gari haiendi, itaoza. So I exercise my body physically at that time. And let me not say more, because I wanted to say that I needed a change.
You needed a change.
And but not just as a mental exercise, but put it in writing, I wanted to leave.
Wow. Bwana Patrick, the second question?
Yeah. What the young man is asking is, he's saying a colleague, somebody you have grown up together. He's successful in this business. He's a man I trust. He's asking, why can't I rely with him to go into business? God blesses us as yourself. Not as, in our tradition we say, haijengwi kama your age mate. So you would wonder what I was doing. This man is doing businesses, my friend, yes? What was I doing myself as I grow? Why should I join him at, when he's also, you know, he's also retiring. Even those in business, hardware, wholesaling, supermarkets, they are also retiring. So I may join somebody who is retiring and he's tired. Then I get messed up when
Yes.
I don't know. It's not good to distract yourself because we respect one another with my friend, as you have requested. Not because I will join him in business, because of some credentials. We have grown together. We do things socially. Watoto wakiwa na hii sherehe ndio sasa namuita we join one another.
Yeah.
But joining his business at old age, I think that
wise.
one is
Not wise. Okay.
Please. Yeah.
2 more questions.
My question goes to Bwana Edward. You've said that there are those circumstances that you consider while someone is when someone wants to continue working as much as he has retired. Could you kindly tell us some of these circumstances that you consider?
You know, as the custodian of people and culture in this particular company, because I did not prepare this person for retirement. So now they are asking for that period of extension so that they can prepare for retirement. That's one. The other way I see it, which is still a failure on my part, is I have not planned for the succession of this person should they exit employment. So I still need him there to, you know, scramble some things together and teach somebody as fast as they can to replace him. 2 things I usually avoid. Mi hujipanga mbele.
Before we wrap up, when you look at the younger generation today, and I love what Reverend has said, because that's also a problem many employers are facing. Young people don't want to stay put. If they give you 2 years, they feel like they've done you a big favor. So they're always moving here and there, doing different things all around. So would you advise the younger generation today to wait for retirement to happen or to retire on their own terms, like you're planning? You've already set, me, by the time I get to 40, I know I want to be retired, and so I have to do this, this, and this, and this before I get to 40, so that when I'm at 40, I'm at peace. So would you advise them to continue hustling from one job to another, and then one day they wake up, they have 5 more years? Or is it better to retire on their own terms?
Definitely better to retire on their own terms, because even aside from the generational dynamics that we young people don't like to be tied down to longer projects, those longer projects in their own, they've disappeared. You see, previously government was the biggest employer on permanent and pensionable terms. They are no longer doing that because they cannot afford those pension terms. So what they're actually doing is 3-year contracts. You get your gratuity, you know, we renew you, and so on and so forth. So hardly nowadays will you find a permanent and pensionable engagement. So in its own sense, the environment has met the generational dynamics of us, these young people. So it's up to us now to, you know, make hay out of the sunshine. And I think Mr. Waithaka, for the first time, I am meeting somebody who has walked the path that I am intending to walk, or rather that I am attempting to walk. So I can look up to you as a mentor on that end. Because what is success? They say, when preparation meets opportunity. So, and it doesn't come by chance. Ni kujipanga. Ni kujipanga. So, you see, the thing about retirement is a transition. It's not a stoppage. You're not stopping to work to go to do other things. It's transition. You're leaving this, like you put it. What next?
Yeah.
That is what we have to define for ourselves.
If you don't answer that question, you get stuck.
You get stuck.
What next?
What next?
Finally, Bwana Patrick, what would you tell that gentleman who's listening to us tonight, and retirement ishabisha, anaiona ndio hii, na halikuwa haja prepare, you are so caught up with life, my school fees na nini, but now you realize, hey, 6th floor is beckoning. I have like maybe 5 more years, 4 more years, and then I have to retire, and I feel like I am not ready for it, I haven't prepared. What encouragement can you give them?
If he had not planned for that for a long time, and it is coming, one, he should not be in a hurry to make hasty decisions. He should seek the Lord. And vizuri. Psalms 24 clearly tells us, the Lord owns everything.
Yes.
He owns us. Even what you have or I have, You are only a steward.
A steward, yeah.
God is very clear. And I would advise that person, first of all, it will depend with where he's retiring. But in the rural folks, where the rural folks avoid indigenous ticks.
What is indigenous ticks?
Kupe.
Yeah.
Those are people who are there hardened, waiting for you.
Oh.
Waiting for you. Possibly to mislead you.
To tell you what to do with your money.
Yeah. That one avoid. You see, retirement, they are just saying they don't need your services. You have served enough.
Yeah.
Age has come. And we are appreciating you with a package. Seek the Lord, and the Lord will guide you. And the Lord will never mislead you.
Very true.
And the Lord, you know, is ever waiting for you to call upon him.
Yes.
He tells me, I'm a jealous God. I don't share my glory with anyone.
another.
Call
Yeah.
me, and I will help you. Ama namna gani?
Our time is up, my friend. Thank you so much for being a part of Man Up this evening. I hope from the conversations we've had today, you've been able to get something to help you. Kama haujaanza mpango ya retirement, please start now. My father used to tell me, uko Nairobi ulienda kazi. Nyumbani ni hapa. Don't put all your eggs there. My dad, Mr. William Okumu, God bless you. Thank you for watching. Do have a great evening. God bless you.